Some villagers had been having a dispute over water rights to a well for a long time. They decided to go and ask the advice of the wise counselor. After hearing their story, the wise counselor asked many questions so he could better understand the dispute and he could give good advice. First, the counselor asked them, "Tell me, what is the situation, and in a few words, what is troubling you?" After the villagers had told their short version of what had happened, the counselor wisely asked them, "Is there something that happened beforehand that led up to this dispute that would better help me to understand what's happening?" The villagers told him what had happened beforehand. Then the wise counselor asked them to repeat the whole story and tell it slowly. As they told the first part of the story, the wise counselor stopped them and asked them, "At this point, did any of you say or do anything?" He listened to their responses. Then he asked, "At this time, were there choices you made? And were there other choices you could have made?" Once the villagers had told him what choices they made and the choices they could have made, the counselor asked them, "What were the results of the choices you made, and what was the resulting impact?" Then the wise counselor asked them to continue. As they told the next part of the story, the wise counselor stopped them again and asked him the same questions. "What did you say or do? Were there any choices that you made, or any other choices you could have made? What were the results of those choices, and what was the long-term impact?" Finally, after the villagers had told the whole story, and because the counselor had listened carefully, he understood the dispute and was able to give them good advice. In STS, we also asked many questions to help us learn from the story, but we want to dig deeper and to see what we can learn spiritually. First, the wise counselor asked, "What was the situation?" Because if we know the situation in a Bible story, it helps us to better understand the people, what they might have said and done, the choices they made, and other choices they could have made. Also, we ask about what happened beforehand, because we know that those things help us to understand the Bible story. Remember how the counselor asked them to repeat the whole story? And he listened carefully so he could give good advice. He asked them those questions. What did you say or do? What were choices you made or other choices you could have made? And what were the results and the long-term impact? As we dig deeper through all those questions, we see what life was like in those Bible stories. And we see that every Bible story has a situation that we can explore and we can hunt for treasures in. Not only do we learn about the people in these stories, but we also look for God and how He is working in every story. How He is working through what people said or did to help us learn. He's working through the story to have us see choices we made or could have made. And He's having us look at results of people's choices and impact of those choices. We always look for God in the story. Even if He is not mentioned by name, He is always working in the story and through the story to help us to learn spiritually and to learn about Him.